What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? It's your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and I am back with the weekly movie rundown, the segment where I run down everything I watched throughout the week. And this week I had a little bit more free time to catch up on some newer movies, and as you can see, I watched Amber Alert, The Apprentice, all things considered, the Martha documentary that was released on Netflix, and The Substance, which everybody has been talking about, and I've been meaning to watch for some time. So let's review, starting with Amber Alert. So Amber Alert stars Hayden Panettiere and Tyler James Williams, and she basically gets in a car with Tyler James Williams, who is might as well be a Lyft driver or Uber driver. She catches a ride with him, but both of them get an Amber Alert, and they're aware of a situation that a mother's child has been kidnapped, and so they're given the information on the vehicle, and they came across that vehicle, which is a Toyota Camry, and she thinks, wait, that might be the person, and sure enough, it is. So they follow the person. They get on the phone with the authorities. They let them know the situation, and they're trying. Basically, they spend the whole movie trying their best not to lose this person and trying to get this little girl back to him. Now, I remember seeing the trailer for this and thinking, this will be a nice home watch, and I do like both of these actors, particularly Tyler James Williams after Abbott Elementary. And it is nice to see Hayden Panettiere in stuff after she took a little hiatus from acting for a little bit. But overall, I thought this movie was okay for the most part. I didn't really expect much from it. I mean, if you saw the trailer, it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's just two people trying to save a little girl from a kidnapper, all because of an Amber Alert. These two, I would say, are definitely the heart of the story in the sense that she is trying to do good by someone. If you see her, spoil, I'm not going to spoil the movie, but there's a backstory as to why she is so hell bent on trying to get this little girl back to him. And meanwhile, Tyler James Williams' character, he just like, yo, look, I commend you for wanting to do this, but at the same time, like, there are a million other people that could have done this. Why we? But at the same time, that's kind of the point of this movie. It's like all it takes is one simple act of kindness to help a mother get back to her child. And that's really the heart of this story, which is, it really does capture how stressful the situation is, which is people trying to do their best to answer this Amber Alert and try to help a mother get back to her child. And though there are a million people that could have done this, but not all of them couldn't have done it or wouldn't have done it, but it's the fact that they did it. But they also show that the kidnapper in this movie, he's also a little bit smarter than them, and they also kind of also show the incompetence of the authorities at times. Overall, I'm gonna give Amber Alert a very low thumbs up emoji. Next up is The Apprentice, which was recommended to me by someone close to me, and he said it was one of the best movies he saw this year. But then again, the person that recommended this movie to me, he hates everything. So how he liked this movie, don't know. But personally, I'm just not big on corporate dramas, but I did catch on to this movie because the movie is about Donald Trump, but mainly also because Sebastian Stain is playing Donald Trump. So I was like, this will be a good acting performance for him. And sure enough, it was. But this movie basically covers Donald Trump's rise to power and his business ventures. And it shows he is the apprentice of this movie. And it shows his mentor in this movie, played by Jeremy Strong. It shows everything he did, whether it was shady, he screwed some people over, he hurt some people, he did some bad things. If for nothing else, this movie does help you understand Donald Trump in a way, but then again, half of the stuff that was in this movie you probably already knew about. And Maria Bakalova, she plays Ivana Trump, who was his wife at one point, but she was excellent in this movie. And anytime I see her in something, I'm like, great, because I want to see her get more work because she's an excellent up and coming actress. But like I said, I'm not too big on corporate dramas, but I did dig this movie at times, and it does help you in terms of understanding Donald Trump, and it does chronicle some key moments within his life. So I'm just gonna give this movie a very mid thumbs up emoji. Next up is Martha. Save Martha! Why did you say that name? Come on, I can't be the only one that was thinking of that when reciting this title. Anyways, Martha is a documentary about the life of Martha Stewart. It chronicles her life from her marriage, her rise of her business, all her success from when she went to jail, and her life after jail. Now, look, I try not to celebrity worship too much, but if I were to make a list of celebrities that I honestly could give less of a shit about, Martha Stewart would be somewhere on that list. Mainly because I never really cared for her, I never really understood the hype behind her, and I never really understood what she went to jail for. All I know about her is jokes when she was on the roast of Justin Bieber and her partnership with Snoop Dogg. That's the whole reason why I watched this documentary, and I'm glad I did because Martha Stewart, she truly was the original influencer. She was a homemaker, she was a businesswoman, she was in the stock trade, which is part of the reason why she went to jail is because of stock fraud. But then she came back, she had everything all laid out for her so that she could get back to her success after jail, and she had a second career renaissance when she did the Comedy Central roast of Justin Bieber, which then hooked her up with Snoop Dogg, and that led to her partnership with him. The movie tells you everything you need to know, even insight into her personality, because there are third party accounts saying that she's hard to work with, she's mean, she's bossy, but hey, that comes with being a businesswoman. And the movie does recognize hey, she's not perfect, but at the same time you can't deny her success. She is truly a feminist icon. Actually, not mad. I came across this documentary. It gave me everything I needed to know about her, and it was a good documentary, period. And that's why I'm gonna give Martha the hard eyes emoji. And finally, The Substance, which everyone has been talking about, and I've been meaning to watch for quite some time, and I finally got around to watching it. And whew, let's get into it. So, The Substance is basically about this aerobics trainer played by Demi Moore, and she's aging. She used to be a star, but then she gets fired because of her age, and she comes across this drug that's on the black market. It basically splits herself up into another person, a much younger and better version of herself. But while she's unconscious for 7 days, the other body, the younger body, she goes off and do her thing until after 7 days, and then she wakes back up and basically lives her life and then reaping the benefits of the younger version. But then eventually, the younger version, she starts to get a little over herself, and shit happens, and a lot of disgusting body horror. Now, personally, I really love this movie, but I also recognize that this movie is not for everybody. There is a lot of body horror, a lot of disgusting body horror, and I definitely suggest that you not eat anything while watching this movie because if you have a weak stomach, yeah, you will definitely throw up. Aside from all the horror of it all, I also love how this movie has something to say about beauty standards, um, how women are valued based on their looks, the lengths people will go to keep their beauty for the sake of relevancy. One of my favorite moments in this movie is the second opening shot where it just lingers on this star that was built, and then we see the early years of it, but then it's also a passage of time in which it just begins to fade away, and then it just becomes another block on a Hollywood sidewalk. Which definitely fits with the theme of this movie about how you're a big star at one point, but then time begins to go by and you just begin to fade away, and then you just become not relevant no more. I do like how this movie established some rules in which you got to do this every 7 days, take a break off for 7 days, you cannot overlap in days, and if you put too many fluids in or whatever, I'm not those spoilers, just watch the movie. But if Demi Moore does not at least get an Oscar nomination for this, I'm gonna be upset. And Margaret Qualley, she is also great in this movie, probably the most beautiful I've ever seen her in. And I've always thought she was a beautiful woman, but they really sexualized the fuck out of her in this movie. I commend both her and Demi Moore because there is a lot of nudity in this movie, and I commend them for being able to put themselves out there like that for the amount of time that they did in this movie. People would say that Dennis Quaid in this movie was a caricature, but he fit for the world that this movie established, and he was funny at times in this movie. Overall, this movie is like a very elaborate episode of The Twilight Zone or even Black Mirror. You take a concept and you just elaborate on it, and it just worked. And shout out to the director of this movie, Coral 4G. Forgive me if I mispronounce her name, but I know she won Best Script at the Cannes Film Festival, and rightfully so, because this movie is just excellent. It's easily one of my favorites of the year, and I'm going to give The Substance the hard eyes emoji. But that's it for the weekly rundown. Have you seen any of these movies? If so, let me know what you think of them in the comment section below. This your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.